It is the 3rd of December 2025, around midnight. We are at Kempegowda International Airport in Bangalore, and there is a long queue sneaking under the glare of the airport's fluorescent lights. A young woman is staring at the flight information board. Her flight to Delhi simply reads cancelled. Nearby, a family is huddled over their phone screens, frantically refreshing for updates. And on the other side is a businessman staring at his laptop screen and sighing. Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers away, similar scenes are unfolding. At Hyderabad, in Mumbai, in Pune, Delhi, Kolkata. By the time the sun is up again, India's largest airline had scrubbed at least 175 flights in a single day. Its third straight day of chaos, leaving thousands and thousands of people stranded across the country. Now, let us be real. This is not just another airline having a bad week. IndiGo controls about 60% of India's domestic market. It normally runs more than 2,000 flights a day with a fleet of over 400 aircrafts, mostly Airbus A320s. And for years, it has sold itself on punctuality so hard that its crew members coined a phrase, Indigo Standard Time, which is a little bit of a dig at India's reputation for running late. And yet, on Tuesday, 2nd of December, when the dominoes just had started falling, Indigo's on time performance collapsed to just 35%, the worst among Indian airlines that day. So, what snapped inside the finely tuned maths of India's busiest airline? And what does this say about the way we fly in our country now? Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Nigdha Sharma, and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleague Rachel Varghese and I will come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Friday, the 5th of December. On a normal day, Indigo runs more than 2,200 flights, shuttling people between metros, tier 2 cities, and a growing web of international routes. And it is built on three main pillars. The first is one main kind of plane, mostly Airbus A320 family aircrafts. Keeps the cost low, training simple, and maintenance is predictable. The second is very tight schedules, short turnarounds, high aircraft utilization, lots of late night and early morning flights. And the third is lean staffing. Enough pilots and crew to run the schedule, but not a lot of slack if something goes wrong. Pilot groups have called this lean manpower planning. And for years, this has worked. We've all seen it. Indigo's on time record was usually above 80% at all major airports. And then one rule book changed. India's aviation regulator, the DGCA, updated something called the Flight Duty Time Limitations or FDTL. And the idea is simple. Tired pilots are a safety risk. So, from the 1st of November 2025, airlines were supposed to give pilots 48 hours of continuous weekly rest up from the previous 36 hours. And then cut their permitted night landings from 6 to just 2 in a defined night window. And also extend what counts as night hours, meaning more flights fall into stricter limits. Now, if you think from a safety perspective, you would say this is long overdue. India's skies are busier, duty days are longer, and fatigue incidents have risen. But for Indigo, which leans heavily on late night rotations and short haul churn, these changes hit the core of its model. More rest meant less pilots and fewer flights. Two night landings instead of six for each pilot meant that you cannot squeeze in as many sectors into those profitable graveyard slots. But here's the thing, the regulator had actually signaled these rules well in advance. They were announced last year and took effect from November last month. Pilot associations too have told the media that Indigo had time to prepare for this, to hire more crew, to redesign schedules. But they argued that the airline did not do enough. They accused it of years of lean manpower planning and of failing to adjust rosters in time. Now, Indigo, for its part, does not deny that it has been hit. It just says that the story is a little more complicated. Stay tuned. Let us fast forward to this week when the airline actually flew headfirst into the storm. Within days of the full FDTL implementation, Indigo began to struggle with crew availability. At Bangalore's airport alone, 73 flights were cancelled on the 4th of December. But why such a collapse all at once? The immediate reason was, of course, what I mentioned earlier. The airline says that the implementation of stricter FDTL norms disrupted crew rostering deeply. Many pilots became legally unavailable to fly night hours and for frequent rotations. But this was not just about the rules and lack of planning. You see, roughly around the same time, another pressure point emerged: aircraft wide software updates. A mandatory software patch for the widely used Airbus A320 family, which forms the backbone of Indigo's fleet. And that triggered additional complications. It reduced the available number of aircrafts and added more strain to crew planning. And add to this the onset of the busy winter travel season, adverse weather, increased airspace traffic, and seasonal schedule adjustments. And these factors, which each seem manageable in isolation, combined into a perfect storm: crew shortage, fewer aircrafts, tighter regulations, and high demand. The result was a system wide gridlock. In November alone, according to government data, Indigo cancelled more than 1,200 flights. Of these, more than 700 were linked to FDTL issues. Now, for Indigo, this is more than just a lapse. It challenges its very brand identity. Its promise to be on time and sometimes even before time stands fractured. Financially, too, the impact was visible almost immediately. Shares of its parent company, Interglobe Aviation, have fallen by more than 3% as I record this on Thursday evening. Meanwhile, the regulator, DGCA, has swung into action. It has summoned Indigo to explain the disruptions and submit a mitigation plan. But here is what Indigo's meltdown says about India's aviation sector. This is a wake up call. Expansion must go hand in hand with capacity in crew, in aircraft, and in contingency. Otherwise, the cost of fast growth may just be the trust of millions of people. Write to me if you have any interesting thoughts on this at podcast@theken.com. Also, the episode is not over yet. I have a very interesting special segment for you today, so don't go just yet. All right. So today in the studio, we have two very brave bros who are going to bare their souls on Daybreak. They are Rohan Dharmakumar and Praveen Gopal Krishnan, the hosts of one of our most popular premium podcasts, 2 by 2. And they recently did a very interesting episode where they basically confronted themselves. Do you want to tell us?
So the title of the podcast was The Broification of Business and Tech Podcasts topic as well, which is about fundamentally exploring the question of why is it that business podcasts and tech podcasts are male dominated,
Got it.
and why is that the case?
But was there a particular reason why you decided to confront it at this, like right now?
This is something that we've been concerned with for a while. The number of women guests on our podcasts, we are, of course, like aware that it's way lesser than what it ought to be. Subscribers have written into us asking us why aren't there
Where
more,
are the women? Okay,
Yeah.
but yes.
right? So we keep coming back to this theme again, and of course, towards the end of the year, it's literally the last month of the year. So you're always in this reflective mindset, saying, how did the year go by? If someone had to do an appraisal for me based on how many women did you actually manage to get on the show? Thank God nobody's going to praise me on that. I would have gotten very poor scores because we had 5% women guests on our show across the 68 episodes that we've done.
Yeah. And if you look at, that's in terms of appearances, but if you look at in terms of episodes, 90% of our episodes have had only male guests.
So, I mean, since you guys have put in the effort to reach out and invite people to speak, why do you think women aren't, coming to
That
speak on
is
your
the
podcast?
episode. Are you asking us to give away the episode? It's an hour-long episode where we actually have two very accomplished and outspoken women, Kasturi Ghosh, who's a partner and member of the board at Trilegal, and Swapnika Nag, who's a co-founder and CEO of Periscope. And as it turns out, we began the episode and the questions got turned back on us by Kasturi, and we had to do a lot of reflection.
Clearly, I mean, you guys think that it is an issue, right? And you want to fix it. What would you do differently?
We got a bunch of suggestions from both Kasturi and Swapnika. Some of them, of course, include things like building a wider and deeper roster of guests that we can reach out to much in advance and build trust with them.
Most importantly, we hope that this episode is a trigger for more women to also reach out to us and say,
Yes.
we understand, we get it, but also we want to be a part of this. And I mean, it's very early days, but I think it has already slowly started. I got a couple of pings today from some really accomplished women leaders whom I had not spoken to, acquaintances of mine who reached out and said, we listened to this episode, it's very nice. And of course, now I have a very opportunistic response back. Will you come on the next episode of 2x2?
But I will say that Praveen and I, though it looks like the world of business podcasting is dominated by men, there is one place where the business of business podcasting is actually not dominated by men, and that is the
Exactly.
Ken.
Yes.
I mean, you two are
Super proud.
examples, right?
Yes.
So
and
there's
90,000 hours.
and
with-
90,000 hours with
Yeah.
Rahel
And
and with
Vedhatri.
Hatri. So we're only two podcasters.
And
I
the
mean, if you
Dantika
can-
producer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
So
All
yes.
right. So, listeners, we'll link the episode to the show notes of this one. Do tune in and write to us with your thoughts.
And appear on the 2x2 podcast.
Thank you.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings, and a full subscription offers daily, long-form feature stories, newsletters, and a whole bunch of premium podcasts. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the website. Today's episode was hosted and produced by my colleague Snigdha Sharma and edited by Rajiv CN.